Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McLemore.
All right, welcome to another night of sharing. With us, we have Chisa Ann Roby, who's the founder and owner of Embracing the New You, which is a life coach and mentoring organization. Welcome, Chisa.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? I'm so glad to finally get the opportunity to get through this interview. We've been trying to connect for a year almost, it seems like. So.
I know, yes. It's been a while.
Yes, it has. And yes, all the way from, you're in Illinois, you're in Chicago, am I correct? Or what part of Illinois are you in?
Dalton, Illinois.
Dalton, Illinois.
Right.
All right. Well,
Yes.
I'm originally from the Midwest, so I know a little bit about Illinois. I'm from Davenport, Iowa, so I was like, oh, somebody close to home, so to speak. So,
Yay!
So, anyway, before we get into deep and with this interview, Chisel, could you introduce yourself to my listeners and tell give us a little bit of background about who you are?
Well, awesome. Well, hello, world. My name is Chisa Roby, and I am the founder of an amazing business called Embracing the New You. This is something that the Lord had gave me, and this is my baby. Embracing the New You is life coaching and mentorship programs.
Okay.
And what that entails is that with the life coaching, what we do is we talk about different principles of life, how to cope with different principles of life, and how to deal with life challenges and situations. From a mentor sector, I mentor from teenagers to elders to young folk, as they say. Okay. Showing them how to embrace the new you, embrace who you are. A lot of times we don't encourage our people, and I think that it is befitting for us to sow into those that maybe don't have the type of encouragement to build up themselves. And so that's what I do. I encourage what's inside of them, and I pull it out and bring it out so that people can see the true light and the true person that they are.
Okay. All right. Well, before we get into any more questions about your business, Chisa, tell me, first of all, tell me and the listeners a little bit about exactly where you're from. And then, to explain to me, how did you get this beautiful name, Chisa? What does it mean?
Actually, it means I found out when my husband and I went to South Africa on a ministry trip, and I found there was another person that had the same name I did, and they told me that it meant the voice of God, meaning that anything that I go before the Lord in prayer, He will answer. That's what my name means.
Powerful. That is powerful. Because I was like, that is an interesting name and it's beautiful. And then, of course, I obviously mispronounced it earlier, so I do apologize for that. And so I definitely wanted to correct that. So it's Chisa, and that's just amazing. So now, Chisa, so tell me exactly where you're from.
Well, actually, I'm from the west side of Chicago. I was born and raised right around the outer skirts of Cape Town. They had a lot of old names back in the day.
Right.
I was kind of in those outer skirts. And as I said before, I live in Dalton, Illinois. I've been there for almost 12 years. And happily married for almost 12 years with 4 children.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
12.
I know, right? So, like I said, been married for 12 years with 4 children. Just awesome, just a time in the Lord. We're ministers of the gospel, and I just do a variety of things in life. And so, from where I came from, I know there's an assignment that I have to do, and that's to hit the communities. And that's where Embracing the New You came in.
Okay. So what really, though, inspired you before you decided to come with this new, because you have had other businesses. So talk to me a little bit about what really inspired you to do the things that you're doing.
Well, actually, it's a little story to that. I went to school. um, for 5 years, Trinity International. I have a bachelor's in psychology,
Mm-hmm.
and so at the time when I first started the school, I was like, I'm going to do Christian ministries and that's it. I had a plan what I was going to do. I was going to be this minister and I'm going to be certified. But then the Lord did a turnaround and said, go for psychology. I said, psychology? I don't want to do that. But then it was like, okay, no, you need to do that. So it was more so of a need than a want. And
Mm-hmm.
so I said, okay, God, I'm going to do it. And so from a person that has came from a dysfunctional family that was in abused relationships and abused family areas, um, I wanted to give back, to
Mm-hmm.
those that were broken down, those that have been misused, misunderstood, and to lift them up and let them know that they're beautiful in God's sight too. So that was my inspiration because
Okay.
of that.
Wow,
Yes.
that's interesting. I like how you've kind of taken your tools from the toolbox and you've combined them. And even though psychology really wasn't something you wanted to do, but when you start to balance everything out, it seems that it's led you to this point of having the embracing the new you. And so,
Yeah.
talk to me a little bit about what actually, okay, you're doing the coaching, you're a life coach, and you're doing mentoring. Now there's definitely a difference between the two of them, so explain a little bit about the differences that you provide within those two entities.
Okay. Well, life coaching is basically I bring out whatever is dead inside of you and bring it back to life. The Bible talks about when Lazarus was dead and Jesus brought him back,
Mm-hmm.
resurrect him back. And so is when it comes to life coaching, I wanted to whatever they're dead in the situation, dead in their relationship,
Mm-hmm.
dead in their dreams, to bring it back to life with biblical principles so that they can walk in purpose and destiny. So that's what life coaching is to me. And
Okay.
that's what I give to others. Mentoring, on the other hand, is almost like when Jesus mentored the disciples. The
Mm-hmm.
Bible says that the disciples said, teach us how to pray. And so he taught them. So mentorship is teaching, having almost like having students, and I'm the teacher. Of course, with biblical principles, teach them how to walk in purpose. It's one thing to know what your purpose is,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a whole nother thing to be taught how to walk in that purpose. So that's what mentoring is
Okay.
and
Yeah.
how I project it.
Okay. I like the way that you have the two separate entities, but they're still combined in a way that, like you said, it's your whole theory of embracing the new you. But what you're
Yeah,
doing is trying to get people to understand who they are and bring them to life in the way that they deserve to be and should be. And I think
yes,
a lot of people. Now, of course, the concept that you're providing, I think people have a better understanding of how they can look at something that they're either doing. They could be a moment within their lives where they feel like they're stuck, or either it's that consistency of I can't get out of this realm. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to breathe and can't breathe, and with you helping them get to that point and move them forward, and utilizing the guidance that the Lord is giving you, and then the guidance of the principles of the Bible. I think that's a phenomenal way of doing life coach in your mentoring piece, because it's a very interesting concept. I haven't heard too many people or anybody that I can think of who's utilized as a life coach in that ramification. So that's interesting. But so to explain to me what so you say you focus more with students, is that what, or do you focus with all age
well,
brackets?
I focus with all age brackets,
Mm-hmm.
mostly since I am also a housing advocate, and I help men with permanent housing
Okay.
for those that need help, resources, and things like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
go out to the community. I go out to the community and start talking. And that's what happened. It was like I started talking, and then they was like, "Oh God, I need that, and then I need this, and I need that."
Mm-hmm.
So I sat down and just began to strategize. Okay, God, how do I do this? And so that's where I came up with a plan of doing the life coaching, because people still need to be um, educated in
Right.
how to deal with life. And then on the other end, people need to know who they are and how to embrace their gifts. And so that's kind of my master plan. So I hit the communities, the churches,
Mm-hmm.
um, even where I work at. I talk to a lot of my clients and things like that. So I'm taking little steps,
Okay.
going into big steps. Yeah.
Right. Well, and that's how, any business would be. So talk a little bit then about the challenges that you've been facing because you've started this new business and, you're trying to, like you said, you're taking a little at a time and you're walking through the steps to figure out what it is that, that you may need help with or that you're continuing to grow with. So just talk a little bit about those challenges.
Well, so far, the main challenges that I'm getting is when I'm talking to different people, about mentoring or life coaching, they have a unbelief, if you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
They don't believe that they can walk in who they are. They don't believe that something good can happen to their life. And as I tell them, you have to first change your mindset.
Right.
It's a mindset to change. And when you change your mindset, then that's first step. And then you go down and begin to look at your life and begin to reflect. I would tell anyone that you need to do a reflection on yourself, do an evaluation on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Say, okay, what can I do? Okay, this may be bad. This may be a bad situation, but how can I get out of it? What is the pros? What is the cons? And begin to write those things out and then begin to come up with a strategic plan and execute it out. And so those are the things. The main thing is their unbelief. And so I try to come with an approach to encourage them, first of all, to believe that all things are possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my main, those are my main challenges, is the unbelief. And then sometimes people, like if I'm talking to a client, whatever, and some relatives or friends or whoever they know, their relationship, people, in relationships, put things in their ear.
Mm-hmm.
And as I told them, you have to be careful what people speak in your ear.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to know for yourself what is good and what is not.
Exactly.
Even though they will give, you understand, even if they may give their opinion, that's fine. But what do you see is the main factor? And that's where you have to see and say, okay, I hear what they saying, but what is the pros and cons to this?
Right.
And then
right.
you'll get a better outcome.
Right. Yeah, and 90% of the time, as individuals, we know what the problem is, but it's acting on that, instead of being reactive,
Yes.
being proactive, and I think that's a lot of the things that, you're probably running into, like I said, with people, they know they need help, but they don't really sometimes want to take the steps it takes in order to get the help. And then when somebody is there for them, it's that balance. And then of course you're going to have somebody who's always going to say, hey, I don't believe in that, or it never worked for me. Well, that's the key. It never worked for them. What is it gonna be to work for you? And so some of the things that you're pulling out of people are things that people deal with every day, but it's having that focus. And like you said, instead of having to be reactive, it's always best to be proactive and allow yourself those opportunities to be able to move forward so that you can reach your goals and dreams and desires that we all have. We all have passions, but most people won't pull those passions out. And a big part of it is because of fear,
Right.
the fear of the unknown and then, just like you said, not believing in what their capabilities are. So I guess, is there, you say you have a strategic process that you go through. So after you've kind of identified what it is that you think the individual may need, do you have a paperwork process they go through? Do you give them assignments? I mean, what are some of the steps that you recommend when you have an individual who's trying to move forward?
Well, the first thing that I do is I do an assessment. And I do an intake and then I do an assessment. What an intake is basically getting information about them and their life and, family history and things like that. And with the assessment is basically wanted to know what their dreams are. Do they have a vision? Do they have a mission? Do
Right.
they have a purpose? Do they have a vision statement? Do they have a vision board or something?
Right.
So it's like it's an outline that they fill out, and then we begin to talk about it. And at that point, at whatever they tell me, at that point, of course, and first and foremost, I always have an ear to hear God as they're speaking to me, so that I can have a strategic plan for them to start with. Prime example, I just met a young lady. She was on Facebook, and she was really going through, and to the point that she did not want to live. And so the Holy Spirit had spoke to me and said, "Tell her to call you." And I called her, and she called me, and went over the assessment and all of that. And I said, pretty much, I said, "You don't want to die." She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You don't want to die. You're just tired of what you're in right now." And she began to cry and break down. She was like, "Oh my God, nobody has never took the time to hear me cry out." That's what I was saying. I don't want to die. And it was a mindset. You feel like so many things that's going on in your life is so bad. You feel like I might as well just leave here. But that's not the end result.
Right.
It's yet a beginning. And so as I do the intakes and the assessments, it gives me a picture or an idea how to work with them. And so I do assignments. Of course, I always teach them the word according to the Bible. We go in scripture. And then as well, we're talking, we're communicating, and then we write in journals. We have journals, daily journals. And I call it, I title it, called Dear God. And every day they have an entry that they're writing to God about a situation or whatever they was dealing with on that day. After that, after they write whatever they're feeling towards God, then I said the next step is it's one thing to write to God, but now you need to talk to him. So it's not only teaching them how to write and to build up their writing skills, but it also encouraged them in their prayer life of how to talk to God so that he can answer like that. So those are the steps that I take, and it has been successful. So far, so good.
Well, and of course, the success really does come with the individual themselves. I mean, it's you can give them the guidance that they need to have, but as human beings, that individual has to make their decision up that they're ready, to move forward, because you could talk to a person all day, but if they're not really truly listening, they're never going to be able to get out of where they're at. So, I mean, that's the most important part. But if you're giving them the proper guidance and you're giving them materials and things, you're making them think for themselves, things that they probably have already thought about, because we all go through when we're going through certain things in our lives. We put so much pressure on ourselves that a lot of times we don't really understand that you could take the pressure off if you would just stop and think for a minute and allow God to guide you and get you out of your situations. And that's what you're doing, is that you're helping people see the things that they're not seeing, but they also have to be willing to take and give, and receive it so that they can move forward. So it's amazing that what you're doing. And, I hope that you continue to have these great blessings and help others, because there are a lot of people out here who every day are looking for a helping hand, and not in a helping hand in a way of just give me something just to take away the pain temporarily. It has to be something that has to be dealt with consistently. It's a life change. And I think and that's the key. I think, with anything in business, but especially when you're talking about the spiritual side of you and the human side of you, if you don't know, like you said, where you come from, you can't move forward. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so I applaud you on your new business, embracing the new you. I love the name. It's awesome.
Thank you.
It's awesome. It works perfectly. So I was real excited. I got to find out what this business is about. So, so it's great having the opportunity to talk to you. But tell my listeners though, how they can get a hold of you.
Okay, awesome. They can contact me by my office, which is area code 708-501-5390. Also, they can find me on Facebook. I have a business page called Embracing the New You business page. And I also have Embracing the New You group page. Now, with the group page, if you need a mentor, I do a lot of mentoring also on that page. Is a private page. So just send me a request and I'll accept you. And we do a lot of mentoring. Also, you can email me at embracingthenewYou@gmail.com if you have questions or, things that you may have questions about, things you might need me to do. So those are the ways that you can contact me.
All right. Well, that has been awesome. And I absolutely thank you for coming on tonight and spending some time with me. I know you're busy, but
Thank you.
You're welcome. But do you have any last words for the listeners?
I do. I just want to, from my heart to yours, that if it's anything in life, you always need someone to talk to. You always need someone to encourage. You always need someone to show that support. That's what God has given me. He has commissioned me. He has given me the authority. He's given me the endurance to help my sisters and brothers. And so if you need me, I'm just a phone call away to pray you through, to get you through. And with God, all things are possible.
Amen. All right. Well, that's an excellent way to end our evening. So again, like I said, I'd like to thank you for coming on tonight and sharing your story with us. And you're welcome, sweetheart, anytime. And for everyone else, enjoy the rest of your evening and check us out. We are now on, of course, iHeartRadio. So I'm really excited about that. Of course, you can still find us on Spreaker. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn. We're out there. Instagram, you name it, we got it. But anyway, have a great rest of the evening. Good night.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.